Thanks for joining this week from Field to Plate with Larry Lewis. I'm the host, Larry Lewis, for those that's never watched this show. I'm excited for today because we actually get used to some of my homemade marinara sauce. This completely come out of the garden. I actually canned 7-8 quarts this past week, couple days ago. I made enough for today's show. I would love to do that on a show when we made an upcoming episode, but I will post a recipe that we have for it. It takes several hours to make this by the time you cook it down. Overview of it. What I normally do is I house skim my tomatoes. I get my water really hot on the stove, put them in it, let them set in there till the skins start to crack, and you can see that. Take them immediately out, put them in water, peel the tomatoes, core them, cut the bottom off, return them back to a saucepan, cook them down, smush them up, and then you follow a recipe. You add your green peppers, onions, your Italian seasonings, and stuff like that, and bring back to the boil, and then you blend it all together. Use a food processor, and then you return it back to heat for about another hour and cook it down, and then you put it in your jars and you can can it and use it all winter long. That's the recipe in a nutshell. There's a whole lot there, but we'll get you the recipe so you can make your own homemade. And you can add to it. You could add other stuff if you really wanted to. Wouldn't be no big deal. So I got thinking what would go good with that. And I didn't want to do spaghetti because everybody eats spaghetti. So we're going to do a chicken Parmesan today with a fresh veggie bow tie pasta salad. And I actually got to go shopping by Fannon's vegetable stand before I come here, and got some really good squash, zucchini, cucumbers, and tomatoes. And my pasta salad is kind of like what's in the garden. I'm going to make a pasta salad with. I love raw squash and zucchini, and I'll eat them in a pasta salad. So we'll assemble that next and get that going. Really simple, really easy to make. Right now I'm going to show you the chicken Parmesan, and we'll get started on that. I got most of the chicken ready. You want a thin chicken cutlet from the breast. A lot of times you go grocery store and they'll be already thin. You can get the thin sliced ones and you're good to go. If not, you can either get a chicken breast, slice it thin, and patty it, or use iron skillet or something heavy, patty it on out, or you can get tenderloins like we got today. So I did most of them already, so I'll do this last one, show you how to do it. Just get you a cutting board. You can use a Ziploc bag, saran wrap. You can use whatever you want to. Take a heavy skillet. You can use a meat mallet, whatever you have, and you just pound it out to your desired thickness. I like it a little bit under a 1/4 inch, and there you go. So that's how you do that. You can't buy them already ready to go thin. So now we're going to do our seasoning. We got a beaten egg. We got our iron skillet with olive oil on it on the side there, and kind of make ourselves some room here, and flour. And then today I have Italian breadcrumbs because that's what they had when I went shopping. I like panko breadcrumbs a little better. They're a little more coarse, a little more bite to them, but you can use either or and it'll be fine. And you might have your own combination. You might want to make your own from scratch. You can take dried breadcrumbs, add Italian seasoning, put them in the food processor, keep them dry, grind them up, and make your own very easily. So in some flour, just slightly coat the outside of your chicken. This just helps everything stick to it better. You don't want a whole lot of flour on it. Then take this hand, do your wet seasoning so you don't make a mess. Then drop it in your breadcrumbs. And take your other hand, and you want to make sure you have a good coating of breadcrumbs on it. Then just drop it in your hot oil. Let it fry 2 or 3 minutes each side. We're going to be putting these in the oven, so what you pretty much want to do, just brown your brown your coating on here, because it'll finish cooking through an oven, and that's how I always do it. So we'll continue breading these, and you want to transfer it to just a regular pan in a minute when you get enough of them ready. And see what I did there? That never works out for me. I still end up getting both hands wet and dry. So we'll do bloopers one day if it don't show up now. Anyhow, whatever method works for you, get them in a flour, egg, back in the breadcrumbs, and put them in a skillet and fry them. That's what we're trying to do. Don't overcrowd your skillet, 3 at a time. Brown them, put them in there, do the other 3 or 4, and then put them in the oven. I like using the chicken tenderloins today because they're a little better cut. And if you use chicken breast, if you don't watch out, you get a big old piece of chicken in your pan. So we're going to finish getting these fried. We're going to put them in the oven, and before we put them in the oven, we'll come back and actually show you with the marinara sauce on them and cheese, and we'll let all that melt and get these going. Then we'll start on our pasta salad. Now we're ready to assemble our chicken Parmesan. What I do here, I'm going to take a little marinara sauce, and this is our homemade we spoke about. Scoop it on there. It don't matter if it runs off. It don't have to be fancy. Just scoop you a nice amount on there. This recipe also will be on the website, on the MTV website, after the airing of the show, where y'all can look it up and try this out at your own house. This is just one I like. You can add, if you look at marinara sauce, you might make your own already that you like. And so now I got some provolone cheese. I like using that better than mozzarella cheese myself. I like the taste of it better. Different recipes some calls for both, or one or the other, or whatever. But I'm using provolone cheese today and fresh grated Parmesan cheese on top of it. So I had to slice provolone cheese, so I just cut it in half moon shapes, or actually tore it half moon shapes, and put that on there where it's going to melt and go around it and over it. And I used the whole package. This was 7 chicken tenderloins that made this, and a package of provolone cheese, and I got a fresh wedge of Parmesan cheese, and I'm just going to grate a little bit on it. You could grate it in a bowl and then put it on if you want to, whatever you prefer. Probably be a little better method. But I'm just going to put a little bit on it for taste, so I'm not going to put a lot because we want to use this on our pasta salad in a minute. So put a little bit on it. You can also take dry Parmesan cheese and put it in with your breadcrumbs, or the more dry, and put it in with your breadcrumbs and actually coat the chicken that way if you want to. We already preheated the oven to 450 degrees. We're going to put our chicken on there, let the cheese melt, and it'll be ready, and we'll assemble our pasta salad coming right up. Now it's time to assemble our summer pasta salad. This is super simple, guys, and I've made this for years. Today I'm using bow tie pasta. Sometimes I'll use pina pasta. I don't like using spaghetti pasta and stuff like that because I don't think the seasonings and stuff coat around it as well. Bow tie's good because you got all these little crevices in there that seasoning and stuff gets in there and it holds it. Veggies, I hardly ever peel any veggies that I put raw in the salad. If you want to, you can. I'll peel these because I don't know everyone else that'll be eating them today how they like it. But so you'll You want to peel them fine. I don't, because that's mostly where your nutrients and stuff is in your vegetables, and most of them, especially carrots and stuff. I give a good scrubbing to, cut them up, and eat them. The same way as some of your other, like potatoes. I like the skin and all. When I eat it, I'll eat the whole potato. Today we're using fresh veggies I got from Fannin's vegetable stand. English cucumber, zucchini, squash, tomatoes, and I'm going to put just a tad of touch of jalapeno pepper in it, and bell pepper, just for a little bit of spice. It's up to you what size you want your veggies in here. I don't like them super, super big, but I do like seeing the different colors and tasting of them. I don't know if y'all have ever eaten raw zucchini or squash, but me personally, I like it in a pasta salad. If you don't like it, don't put it in it. Just use cucumbers, tomatoes, and whatever, green onions. Sometimes I'll put green onions in it. So we'll slice up our veggies here. Most time on seasoning, I just use a decent olive oil most time. Salt, pepper, a little garlic powder, and either an Italian season or like rosemary, oregano, sometimes basil. If it's fresh, I'll put it in there. So just some type of Italian season that you have on hand would be fine. So there's that. Cucumber gives it a nice crunch too. You go ahead and dump your veggies in as you're doing it. I like plenty of veggies in it. We make this quite a bit during summertime at the house. I did wash all these. They've been washed really well. Make sure you wash your veggies, especially if you don't raise them yourself. You never know what type of pesticides or whatever it could have been sprayed, so you want to make sure you wash everything really well. Again, every cut I make's not perfect. It gives it character. Just one of them decent sizes where you can still see them and eat them. The tomato really makes this dish along with olive oil, because you get the juices off tomatoes, and then the salt and pepper that you add to it makes it really good. I like my tomatoes a little bit bigger pieces, so you actually can find them in there and they don't fall apart. Especially a good ripe garden tomato, depending on what type they are. All of them's not firm. So aroma tomato, to me, I think they're a little too meaty for this. I like more of a medium to softer tomato. Another tip I do whenever I get my pasta out, I automatically put my olive oil in it, and it kindly keeps it from drying out and sticking together. If you put your olive oil in when you first bring it out, and then toss it together, and then it keeps it from sticking. If not, a lot of times it'll stick together, and then you'll have this big 2 or 3 clumps of pasta stuck together, and you really don't want that. Let's get our other tomato in there. I can smell our chicken Parmesan. We need to check it in a minute. It smells good. Shouldn't take 5-10 minutes at the most for cheese to melt and the chicken finish cooking. Where it's a thin chicken's going to cook pretty quick. Okay, I got a little rosemary, a little basil, and Italian seasoning today. I'm just going to put a little bit of it on top because we're going to mix all this together in a minute. Definitely want to put some of our bell pepper in there. This is actually a pretty one day. It's starting to turn color, so you got a little green and orange on it, reddish. I don't put as much pepper in it as I do some of the other. That's probably plenty of pepper because we're going to add just a touch of jalapeno. If you don't like your jalapeno hot, take the seed membrane out of it. That's where your heat is in any pepper. It's in that membrane and seed. So just take it out, do away with it. If you want a little hotter, leave it in it. You don't want no hot pepper in it. It's just totally up to you. Okay, then I like to take my Parmesan. I like using the heavier, the coarse grade on it because I like actually chunks of Parmesan in it, not where you gotta look for it. And please, if you're going to make this and use dry Parmesan cheese, don't even make it because it won't turn out right. It's not good. And you don't have to get this kind of Parmesan cheese, but they do make Parmesan cheese already grated in a container, but the dry Parmesan cheese does not work well with this recipe that's in the shake like you put on your pizzas and spaghetti and stuff at home. I use a lot of cheese. I'll use almost, where I've already used a quarter of this, I'll use the rest of it in this and mix it up. Sometimes I'll mix cheeses. I'll get Parmesan, Asiago, 2 or 3 different kinds, and grate in it. I'll show you something in a minute. When you get close to the end, you actually get into the harder part of the rind of the Parmesan cheese. And personally, I don't like that part. 9 times out of 10, if you get the dry cheese, Parmesan cheese out of a store, that's what it's made out of, is the rind part of this. It's still cheese, but it's more of a harder, drier part. And it obviously tastes different if you try it from the rest of the cheese. So I try to avoid that also. I like using fresh ground pepper. I think we've about got our bowl full, so we'll be in pretty good shape. And you'll go back and put salt and pepper when you mix it and taste it. So you want to carefully mix all this together. Bottom up. And then I'll usually taste it several different times, add more olive oil, add more Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. I have put red pepper flakes in it before. You see the tomatoes still in big chunks. And that tomato is super good because it actually gets all that salt and pepper on it, and seasoning, and it sticks in with that bow tie pasta, all the flakes. If you see it, you can start seeing all the seasoning and stuff that's on the pasta, and that's why I like to use that type of pasta. So I'm going to put more pepper on it. And that coarse pepper is better too. You just taste it and it sticks to it really well. Let me find my olive oil, put a little more of it in it. If you like garlic powder, you can put a little bit in it. You see the chunks of cheese Another trick, I didn't do it this time, but you can cut your tomatoes first, olive oil, and put your salt and pepper on the tomatoes and taste them till you get them seasoned how you like it, and then put it in it. That's really the better way to do your tomatoes. Because tomatoes, to me, and pasta is the two things that stands out that holds the flavor that's bold in here. So you get those. So when we come back, this will be done, and we will get our chicken Parmesan ready, and we'll plate up. Everything's completed. Just brought our chicken Parmesan out of the oven. This is how I like it. When the cheese melts, you got a little crusty cheese edge around it, and personally, that's my favorite way. We'll plate up a piece of this with some just French bread that we slice, a little olive oil, garlic on it, that's it. Or homemade garden pasta salad. And it's just Italian herbs, seasoned olive oil, and whatever fresh garden veggies you got, you can put in it. So just make sure you got plenty of veggies and stuff on it. And also, I had a little pasta left over, a little marinara sauce. Don't throw it away. I made a little pasta dish with the leftover marinara. Throw the extra bold Thai pasta, a little dried basil on top, a little Parmesan cheese, and there you go. There's another whole side dish, meal, whatever you want to eat. And a lot of times, chicken Parmesan is served with a side of spaghetti noodles, but you got different options. So this is the route I went today. Let's cut into this, and let me grab a fork. Let's try this out. I already tried the pasta, it's good. It's really good. Good dish. It don't take too long to make. We'll have the recipe up for the homemade marinara, the recipe for the pasta salad, which is kind of go add as you go. If you make it bigger, add more olive oil, herbs, taste. Chicken Parmesan recipe also be loaded up on the MTTV website. Go scroll down the bottom, you'll see the cooking episodes, or a link that you can click on the cooking ones, and they'll go to the shows, and they'll have the recipes listed underneath that. So thanks. I'm glad you tuned in another week from Field to Plate with Larry.